What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Creature Comforts Brewing Company, and they're out of Athens, Georgia, and this is their Koko Buni. So they're calling this one a milk porter, and they're also saying this is an ale brewed with coconut, cocoa nibs, and coffee. It comes in at 6.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. And this can is approximately 4.5 months old. I'm going to give a huge thanks shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Wes, for this beer. So huge thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that he hooked me up with. And I'm really excited. He sent me a beer from Creature Comforts because I've heard really good things about them over the years. Never had anything from them, so really excited about this one. Plus, it's a milk porter with coconut, essentially chocolate and coffee. They specify on the label here that it is toasted coconut, and I believe the coffee is from a local coffee roaster in Athens called 100 Faces. And they also say product contains milk, aka lactose, because it is a milk porter. So yeah, really excited about this one. Now I will say it does have a best by date of March 23rd of 2023, which is about 2 weeks ago as I review this. And I'm not too concerned about it. I don't think it would have mattered if I drank this when Wes sent it to me. I think it was like 2 or 3 days under the best by date when he sent it to me. So I don't think it would have mattered if I drank it 2 weeks ago. Now, if I drank this 2 or 3 months ago, I'm sure it'd be a little bit different. I'm hoping the adjuncts have held up, but we will see. So let's give it a pour here. You don't see too many milk porters. You see typically milk stouts. So the fact this is a milk porter is pretty interesting to me. I'm assuming, you know, nowadays with porters and stouts, there's kind of very similar, like, you know, you can look at the history of what the differences are supposed to be, and a lot of people will tell you different things. Nowadays, for me, I always think porters are a little bit lighter and not as roasted with the malt. But outside of that, like, they can be very similar. So calling it a milk porter or stout nowadays doesn't matter because a lot of breweries just do whatever they want. But anyway, yeah, this has a dark brown color poured out. Dark brown on camera is going to look pitch black in the glass, holding it up to the light. Definitely dark brown. Has just under a finger of this straight up brown, lighter brown colored head, maybe like a mocha colored head. Like, you know, somebody took a coffee and put a couple creams in there, a couple creams. All right, anyway, let's get a nose. That's nice. So I'm definitely getting a big chocolate vibe to this one. Lots of like sweet, dark chocolate. The coffee's there too, so mocha vibes indeed. There's an underlying like coconut kind of thing going on. Very subtle. Good thing about this is a lot of times when lactose is used in either milk stouts or milk porters or any kind of darker beer, I always get a metallic vibe, like 75, 80% of the time. I will get a metallic vibe. Not getting it here. Might be because of the adjuncts. Who knows? What is that? I just got, so that's cool. So the mocha vibe is here for sure. There's a little bit of like roasted malt, but then there's definitely coffee and chocolate. But I just got like a nuttiness into like a, it's interesting, a nuttiness into like a, how do I want to say this? Like a Nutter Butter, like the wafer. It's kind of like wafer-esque. Yeah, it's like a mocha like wafer, basically. That smells pretty cool. Kind of different, unique. I've never gotten that, honestly, in a beer. Like a straight on like Nutter Butter or any kind of like wafer, like a mocha wafer. And I've had chocolate wafers, coffee wafers, all different kinds. I don't know if I've had a mocha one though. Yeah, it smells pretty good. I'd say the lone disappointment, this could again be due to age. The toasted coconut that's in here isn't like vibrant. It's barely detectable. If I was doing this blind, there's no way I would say there's coconut. Because I know there is, I can get it like very, very, it's a very minute character in the nose. I can tell it's there, but again, if I was doing this blind, there's no way I'd guess it. But yeah, it smells pretty damn good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Wes. That is pretty damn cool. It has like a chocolate coffee kind of like wafer, desserty cookie kind of thing going on. I like that, but it's not crazy sweet. This is actually like full on dry in the back of the palate. Like it hit my palate, and I was going through. I was like, oh yeah, sweet mocha wafer, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, hang on, this is super dry. Buying this 6.5%. This is lower side of medium, so it's a touch thin. especially with lactose. Lactose typically builds up the body a little bit and then adds that like kind of like creamy kind of nature to the mouthfeel. It's doing that for the mouthfeel. The mouthfeel's smooth, it's creamy. It's like mild to moderately carbonated. So I think the mouthfeel is perfect, but the body's a little bit thinner than I would like for a 6.5% beer. The taste, honestly, with toasted coconut, cocoa nibs, and coffee in here, I thought it would be a little bit more like complex. It could be age, or it could just be my palate shit and I don't detect everything, or it could be a combination of both. I'm pretty much getting, and a lot of times I break down in my reviews, if you watch my channel, I go front of it to the back of the palate. I try to break everything down. This is honestly just hitting my palate as a whole, as if you had a wafer, like a cookie wafer, like again, like I said, like Nutter Butter. But let's say the Nutter Butter was chocolate and it was a dark chocolate, and it wasn't peanut butter. It was like layers of like a creamy, like coffee flavored kind of like cream in there. This is like a Nutter Butter that would be mocha flavored, and that's what I'm getting the taste front to back. It's sweet up front, back of the palate. It finishes with this very firm, straight on, crazy dry feeling on the palate. This is mildly bitter, way more dry than bitter, but it balances out the sweetness from the lactose, from the base beer, from the coconut. And I think the coffee's probably doing a little bit, and the cocoa nibs as well. Hides the alcohol extremely well at 6.5%. There's also a slight, a very slight, like dark cherry that's ever so slightly tart. Does that mean this beer is close to turning? Sometimes, beers can start turning and they get infected maybe from the ingredients. This is, I don't know if that sourness, or I should say sourness, that very slight tartness should be there. But maybe that's why they give it a best by date. Maybe after, 4 or 5 months, it starts to, turn a little bit and not be exactly what they want as a brewery being out in the public. So I'm glad they give it a can down date and a best by date. I think every brewery should do that, honestly. But as is, I'm enjoying this. I'm going to go drink the rest of this. I really enjoy it. Rating, yeah, this is my first Creature Comforts beer. I think they did a pretty good job, even though it's out of date by a couple weeks. And again, that's not the fault of Wes. He sent it to me 2 or 3 days beforehand, but I have a lot of hop forward beers I got to get to before something like this. So letting this sit for a couple weeks isn't a big deal in comparison to like a hop forward beer that's already a couple months old. I can't let that sit for 3 or 4 months. Probably not going to get a true representation of what that should taste like. This, I feel like I got a pretty good representation of what it should be. So Koko Buni from Creature Comforts. I'm going to give this a high 4 out of 5 and go 4.1 out of 5. I think that's where this one lands. If I could get this one locally, let's say this was locally available and this came out every once in a while, whatever, I would definitely buy a 6-pack of it every, let's say this came out in November. I don't know if this is like a winter release or a late fall release and that's it, or if they actually release this one year round. But regardless, I would have a 6-pack of this in my fridge every once in a while because I love toasted coconut. I think these flavors are nice. The only disappointment about this beer to me personally is the fact that I didn't get toasted coconut. And again, I do contribute that to the age. It's the first ingredient listed. You'd think I should get it. I really don't. But maybe I decided in the nose I was getting that nuttiness, and a lot of times toasted coconut can give me a little bit of nuttiness. Not really getting the taste. But anyway, I would want to grab a fresher can of this to try. But at the same time, this would be a beer that would be in my fridge. It's $11.99 a 6-pack according to Wes in his area. That's $2 a can for something like that. Pretty damn good price point. Availability, I have no idea with Creature Comforts. I imagine they're all over Georgia. Outside of that, I have no idea. So if anybody knows how far they distro outside of Georgia, if they do, please post in the comment section and let me know. And also, if you've had this beer before, post in the comment section and let me know what you thought about it. Like I said, I think the age has played a role in the toasted coconut not being detected by me, but the rest of the beer, pretty spot on. I get the cocoa nibs, I get the coffee, the base beer is nice. Outside of it being a little thin, I think it's a really nice beer. So huge thanks to Wes for this beer. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.